Good morning, MacLaren. Today is Tuesday, September 15th, 2020. The weather today is sunny and cold early, and partially cloudy and warm in the afternoon. The low is 53 degrees and the high is 83 degrees. The winds are to the north at 5 to 8 miles per hour, and the chance of rain is 0%. The sun rose at 6:41 a.m. and will set at 7:07 p.m. Today, I want to tell you about a scientist that is still alive today. His name is Merlin Tuttle. Merlin Tuttle was born on August 26, 1941, which means that he just celebrated his 79th birthday. He is a bat ecologist, which means that he studies bats and their behavior and what they need to survive. And when Merlin was just out of high school, he learned that the gray bats were starting to die out, that they were becoming extinct. But Merlin Tuttle knew that bats were really important to our world, that they eat so many insects in the US that US farmers save $23 billion in pesticide every year because bats exist. Now, bats are sensitive to microclimates of caves. The small temperature and humidity differences of those caves are really important to them. If cave owners make the openings of caves bigger for mining or for any other reason, then bats sometimes they'll feel that temperature and humidity difference and it doesn't work for them. They'll have to move. And so they lose their home. And so Merlin knew things needed to change for these bats because they were starting to die out. And so he started educating people who owned those caves. He educated people who explored those caves, and he was able to also get the gray bats on the endangered species list, which means that it has government protection from being harmed by any human. He took photos of bats too, so that other people could see up close how interesting they were, because at that point he was the only one getting to see these bats and other bat ecologists, of course. But Merlin had a problem, and the problem was this: bats were really unpopular. People did not like bats. In animal unpopularity, they rated between a cockroach and a rattlesnake, which is just very, very unpopular. Cockroaches people think of as pests, and rattlesnakes they think of as dangerous pests, and bats scored in between. And so bats were considered like very dangerous and very unwelcome pests. And um, and Merlin needed to change that because he needed to educate people and change that. And so in 1980, the city of Austin, Texas, they renovated their Congress Avenue Bridge, which had been standing for almost 70 years. And those new crevices that they made after they renovated it became a perfect spot for bats to roost. And so bats started to move in the hundreds and thousands. Unfortunately, the people of Austin, Texas thought that bats were a nuisance, that they were a pest, and that they would give everyone rabies, which is a terrible disease. So the city wanted to exterminate the bat colony. They wanted to kill all of those bats because they didn't want to get rabies. And that's when Merlin Tuttle knew that it was time to move to Austin, Texas, and to protect the bats that lived in the Congress Avenue Bridge. So he worked in Austin to teach real facts about bats. That if you don't touch a bat, the bats won't touch you. And if you don't touch a bat, you won't get their disease. So you need to leave bats alone. You don't touch bats, and you won't get any illness that a bat has. And he also helped the city of Austin tell everyone what to do if they found a sick bat. So if you find a sick bat, you don't touch the bat, you call a bat expert to come and help. And they'll come and help make the bat, they'll help nurse the bat back to health. And finally, Merlin Tuttle told the city of Austin that this bat colony was actually a really, really good thing for the city. It would bring tourism from all over the country, from all over the world, because people want to see bat colonies because bats are really interesting. And all of these bats every night, they would eat so many bugs. And in the city of Austin, Texas, there were a lot of bugs. And so it would be fantastic if all of these bats were here to eat all of their bugs. And so because of Merlin's work, he saved the bat colony from being exterminated, from being killed, and now it's one of the most famous bat colonies in the world. And if you go to Austin, Texas, between April and September, you can see the bat colonies flying out every night to catch bugs and flying back to roost. And it's amazing. Now, Merlin Tuttle is still a bat ecologist and is still working to help save bats. And I think that he is an incredible person to tell you about because he is still doing this work. And you can go see videos of him talking about it. He's still alive. And that's just exciting to me because sometimes we learn about people who are not alive, and that's wonderful. But this person still is alive, and you can still see the work that he's doing. Okay, my friends, if it is your birthday today, September 15th, 2020, happy birthday. I hope you have a day filled with kindness, friendliness, and peace. We are all in this together. See you next time.